Hey guys, how's it going? So I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but I'm finally getting around to doing it, so I'm in the mood to talk about some death metal. So today I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite death metal records from the year 2000 to the present. So I have this divided up into two sections. The first section of records I'm going to show is the more established bands, so like bands that have been doing this since basically the beginning, and part 2 is going to be the more modern, newer bands. So I figured that'd be a good way to break it up so it's not like too clusterfuck or whatever, but yeah. So before I show the first record, since we're talking about death metal, might as well play this classic. Seance for Never Laid to Rest. 92 and 93 originally on Black Mark Productions. These guys are Swedish, but basically this is a love letter to the first two Deicide records. So if you like early Deicide, which I'm sure most of you probably watching, or at least like the self-titled or maybe Legion, if you like death metal in the style of the first two Deicide records and you want something different that's not Deicide, check out some of the early Sentient material. I always forget if this or Salt of Ice came first, but those two records are both great, but this one's my preferred of the two records, so yeah. For Never Laid to Rest, didn't make the list obviously because that's from the early 90s. And none of the stuff's in order. I just have it alphabetical because ranking stuff's kind of pointless, but whatever. Alright, let's get to also the well-established bands first. So this is 2011, I think. Autopsy, Macabre Tonal. This was the first full-length that Autopsy did once they got back together. I know they did a couple EPs, which I have. This compilation has some of the EPs that they did before the first full length, but in my opinion, this is probably their best since, I would say, probably the best since Mental Funeral, but Acts the Unspeakable was really solid record too, and probably in my opinion still the best thing they've done since they got back together, but yeah. We all know what Autopsy sounds like, so again, 2011, Peaceful. Okay, here's one from 2004, maybe? Bloodbath, Nightmares Made Flesh. I'm only doing full lengths. If I was including EPs, I would have shown this. Because this is honestly my favorite Bloodbath release, but this is only an EP with 4 songs, so I didn't feel like showing EPs, so I'm doing full lengths only. This is called Unblessing the Purity. And that's the first thing when Michael Ackerfeldt joined the band again, but this one has Peter Tagman on vocals and also Dan Swanner on guitar, which I didn't know Dan played on guitar like a month ago, so that's cool. And I think he mixed and mastered it too, but definitely my favorite by them. I mean, Cancer of the Soul, Brave New Hell, Soul Evisceration, Feeding the Undead, Eaten, A Bastard Son of God, You of the Cadaver Race, one banger after another. So yeah. Bloodbath, Nightmares Made Flesh. I kind of wish Peter was still in the band, but the last 2 records have been okay, but Nick Holmes isn't that great of a death metal vocalist in my opinion, but whatever. Okay, I'm sure you all saw this one coming since it's me. Both though, this one's Loyal, 2006 I believe, and this was actually the first not the first record I ever heard by them, but the first song I ever heard by them in general was the 3rd song, The Kill Chain. So I think they broke up because their drummer died, who had been in the band for like 20 years at that point, and they didn't want to continue on without him, but I know we have Memoriam now, which I'm not a Memoriam fan, but anyway, this is definitely, I would say, one of the best in general, but at first light, The Kill Chain, Those Once Loyal, Anti-Tank Dead Armor, Last Stands of Humanity, When Cannons Fade. For Victory is my favorite, but this is definitely probably my top 3 or 4, so yeah. Bolt Thrower, Those Once Loyal, and you all know what Bolt Thrower sounds like. Okay, here's a band where after the first 3 records, I don't really mess with any of the stuff afterwards, but this record is a rare exception. Deicide, Stench of Redemption, 2004, I think, 2006, the second record on Earache after leaving Roadrunner, and their first record was after Hoffman Brothers. You got Jack Owen, who has been in Cannibal Corpse, he's now in 6 Feet Under. and Ralph Santola, who I believe was an obituary. I could be wrong, maybe. But yeah, honestly, a lot of this stuff after the first three has kind of gotten, like, not calmer, it's kind of more mid-paced and slow. This one's not. This is definitely, I think, the most Fast and Furious since maybe Legion or even the self-title. I know it's up for debate, but every song just goes for the fucking throat. The title track, Death to Jesus, Crucified for the Innocents, Homage for Satan, which is the single, Not of This Earth, The Lord's Sedition, Black Knight. So if you think Deicide stopped being good after the first two or first three, give this one a listen. This one rules, so yeah. Deicide's Stench of Redemption. My favorite's Legion. This is definitely the best since Once Upon the Cross, in my opinion. Okay, this band, I would choose a different record if I owned it, but I don't want to show something I don't own because it's kind of cheesy, but I'll show this anyway. Picture disc. So this is the self-titled Dismember record from 2008, the most recent full-length. I would have shown The God That Never Was, because I think that's a stronger record than this one, but like I said, I don't own that, but apparently Dismember are repressing their albums very soon, they're almost done with that, so very much looking forward to that record, which, with that happening, but, and I have tickets to see them at MDF in 2022, so I'm very much looking forward to that. They are definitely the band I'm the most excited to see in that set, so yeah. I know it seems like people have their favorites of the Swedish bands. Some people like their favorites are Unleashed, some people say Entombed, some people say Grey. For me, I'll let Dismember. Honestly, Dismember and Vomitory are my two favorites. No one talks about Vomitory and it's a damn shame. That band rules. Okay, here's one from, I was debating excluding records from 2000 specifically, but I decided there's a couple really good ones, so I kind of had to not do that, so yeah. Exhume Slaughter, their second record from 2000 following Gore Metal, which I know Gore Metal, some people prefer that one, but I prefer this one. This has a lot of their best songs, like Decrepit Crescendo, Forged in Fire, Forged in Fire, Formed in Flame, This Axe Was Made to Grind, A Lesson in Pathology. And you can tell by the cover, this is basically, it sounds like Symphonies of Sickness, Earache mixed with a little bit of Left Hand Path, Air Entombed. I mainly say that because of the guitar tone and kind of the solo style reminds me a lot of the first Entombed record, but yeah. Definitely the best record in my opinion, but honestly, I know some people that only like the first couple records, but honestly, I like all the Exhumed stuff, so yeah. This one's definitely, I think, their crowning achievement in my opinion, so yeah. Exhume Slaughter Cult. Okay, here's one that I wouldn't say it's underrated, but in terms of this band's discography, it's underrated, I guess. Pull out the booklet so you can see it better. Hypocrisy, A Taste of Extreme Divinity. When it comes to Hypocrisy, honestly, their best stuff for me is definitely everything up to the final chapter. A lot of the stuff after that record's kind of hit or miss, but this is definitely their best record, I think, since the final chapter. I know, sure, this era of Hypocrisy, starting with, like, their third record, they got kind of more melodic, but this record's still decent, so. Valley of the Damned, Hang 'em High, We Got the Weak, Global Domination, Alive, The Quest, The Sky is Falling. Yeah. Not my favorite by them. My favorite's probably Us, the first two, or the final chapter, but this one's definitely one of their best recent memories, so yeah. Hypocrisy, A Taste of Extreme Divinity, solid record. Okay, here's another one from 2000. Emulation, Close to a World Below. I almost went with Atonement, but then I realized this is from, I thought this was from 99 for some reason, but I look back, I realized this was from 2000, so I decided to include it, but yeah. I've heard some people say this is basically like the musical equivalent of what Going to Hell sounds like, which is kind of appropriate. I know a lot of people, this is their favorite Emulation record, not mine personally. My favorite would definitely be this masterpiece known as Dawn Possession, but I would say this is probably my third favorite. But I know this has some of their best songs like Higher Coward, Father, You Know the Father, Last Possession, Put My Hand in the Fire, the title track. Sure, some Emulation records are better than others, but this is definitely one of the highlights of the career in general, so yeah. Emulation, Close to a World Below, that's from 2000, and their fourth record, yeah. Yeah, fourth record, following Failures for Gods. Okay, another one from 2000. Incantation, The Infernal Storm. Debatably my favorite Incantation record, honestly. I know most people are going to say Onward to Golgotha or Mortal Throne of Nazarene, but honestly my favorite is either this or Diabolical Conquest. Which I know Craig Pill is definitely, I would say, the most highly regarded vocalist, but honestly my favorite is either Daniel Cochado or Mike Sayas. Which, I know Daniel was only on Diabolical Conquest, which he came from Cenotaph, and then he would, after Incantation, what was it after? I think it was in between Diabolical that he formed the Chasm. I'm not positive, but I know it was after he left Cenotaph. This one has Mike Sayas. I think he did guitar vocals on this one and Blasphemy, if I'm not mistaken, but this one's definitely, I think, the best of the 2000s, though. I almost chose Dirges of Elysium, but this one I think is still the stronger record, but yeah. Like, Anoint the Chosen is probably my favorite song on here, either that or Heaven Departed. Yeah. Incantation, the band that's led to 1,000 clones, but there's only one original. Another one from 2000, I think 2000, yeah. Crisian, Conquerors of Armageddon. Though Crisian is one of those bands I definitely need more records from, I only have these two, unfortunately. I know most people will say this is their best, but for me it's definitely Conquerors. Though their first two records are all solid, honestly, they're one of the bands where if I see another record in a record store, I'll pick it up, but I always forget when I'm looking at stuff online to buy more records. I'm not sure why, but anyway. Definitely, I would say this one was the most Fast and Furious. Yeah. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Crisian, but I would say they're underrated, but not really. They're not one of the top two bands, but they're not the second two. I'd say they're kind of in between, in the middle, but anyway, yeah. Crisian, Conquerors of Armageddon. And just a side note, that's definitely one of my favorite cover arts of all time, so yeah. Crisian, Conquerors of Armageddon. Hey, let me flip that record really quickly. Okay, this one is from one of my favorite bands. Obviously, that's why I named the channel after one of their songs, but this record is extremely underrated, in my opinion. Morbid Angel, Gateways to Annihilation. I know some purists that only like the first couple with David Vincent, don't like any of the Steve Tucker stuff. I'm not sure why. This record and Formulas are both some of the best songs we've ever done on those records, but this one I would say, honestly, this is my third favorite by them. It's probably, for me, Covenant, Altars, then this, which I know that might be blasphemy to some, but oh well. I mean, Summoning Redemption, Angel Still I Am, He Who Sleeps, To the Victors the Spoils, At One With Nothing, Opening the Gates, God of the Forsaken, which I think it's Secure Limitations that has Trey do some vocals on that song, which I wish he would do more vocals. His vocals are definitely great, so. Yeah, if you think Morbid Angel stopped being good after the first couple with David, this one destroys, so definitely check this one out. Extremely underrated in my opinion. I don't know, some people say only early stuff's good, but I definitely disagree. So yeah. If I had to rank this stuff, this is my number one. I know that might be a hot take, but whatever. And this might be another unpopular opinion for my favorite record by this band. Nioh, what the fuck is this one called? Epiphalic, so. Most people, I would say, would probably choose Annihilation of the Wicked or In Their Darkened Shrines, but honestly, this is definitely my favorite Nioh song. It has, I would say, some of their best songs, like What Can Be Safely Written, As He Creates, He Destroys, Vampires Containing the Spell to Preserve Its Professor Against Attacks from He Who Is in the Water, Eating of the Dead, The Infidelity of Stone, The Language of the Shadows. Yeah. Great record, definitely I would say Nioh's best from the 2000s onwards, though they only have one record in the 90s, so it's kind of not saying much, but oh well. And I believe this was the last record on Relapse, I think. Was it? No, it was the first on Nuclear Blast, that's right, because Annihilation is the 4th record, and that was the last on Relapse, that's right. Yeah. 2006, I think this came out, maybe? 2006, 2007, but yeah. Nioh, Epiphalic, definitely my favorite Nioh record. Okay, this runs from 2018, when this came out. No one talked about it, and it fucking bugs me. Pestilence, Heodian. Why did no one talk about this record when it came out? I do not understand. This is honestly their best record since Testimony of the Ancients, and no one talked about it. I don't know why, but anyway. Though, honestly, a lot of the stuff honestly, everything they've done after Testimonies, I'm not really a fan of, but this record really surprised me. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe they got a member change that brought some new energy to the band, but they released a new single, I think, yesterday or Thursday, and that definitely sounds in the style of this, so I'm definitely looking forward to the new record too. So, Pestilence, Heodian. More people need to talk about this record. This is definitely a great one. So, obviously, it's not as good as I would say Consuming Impulse or anything, but it's definitely, at least it's on the level. It's definitely a lot better than what they've been doing in the past. So yeah, Pestilence, Heodian. Check that one out. Okay, here's another one. This is from 2008, I think. 2008, 2006, something like that. Sinister, The Silent Howling. Probably the best record since Hate, maybe. But I know that record came out in 92, so it's kind of a big gap. This one is definitely kind of mid-era. Sinister is not bad, as they kind of not really lost the edge. Just kind of sound not really uninspired. You just kind of like going through the motions, but this one's definitely a good step up in the quality of the record. So, Diabolical Summoning is probably my favorite record by them, but this one's, I would say, the best of the post-2000 material. So yeah, Sinister, The Silent Howling, good death metal from the Netherlands. Okay, here's one that I know some people say this record's kind of boring. I don't get that at all, but that's just me. Suffocation, Souls to Deny. I almost went with Pinnacle of Bedlam, but I was listening to these two yesterday to compare the two to prep for this video, and honestly, I think this one's a stronger record of the two. Did this have did this have fucking Mike Smith on it? I have to see. This is gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, okay, this is Mike Smith's return to the band, that's right. Because I know he wasn't with them for a little bit. I don't think he played on the EP before this, but I know this is their first record with Guy, I think, is it? Oh yeah, it's their first record with a guy who left after Pinnacle of Bedlam. He didn't play on the most recent record, but honestly, not their best, but I would say the best of 2000s onwards. Though it has one of my favorite songs by Suffocation, which the song Souls to Deny. I love that song. Cool dance Seagrief artwork too. I'm sure we all know Suffocation, definitely one of the pioneers of the whole brutal death metal thing, but they do it better than anybody, so yeah. Souls to Deny, Suffocation. Okay, here's the last of the classic bands, and we'll get to the newer bands, I guess. Vader, Welcome to the Morbid Reich. I almost went with Litany, but I decided I only wanted a couple records from the year 2000, so I decided to go with this one instead. This is, I think, in my opinion, the best record since Litany, which is just 2013? No, 2011, that's right, because I think after this, was it the Empire? No, it was To Be It Igni came out after this, then the Empire, then the most recent one, but... And this record, honestly, has maybe my favorite Vader song, which is Come and See My Sacrifice. I don't know what it is about that song, but it's definitely one of Vader's best songs. But also, Return to the Morbid Reich, The Black Eye, Only He Knows, I Had a Dream, Lord of Thorns, They'll Be Coming. So yeah, definitely Vader's best of the more recent material, so yeah. Vader, Welcome to the Morbid Reich. You know I love Vader. Okay, so that is the classic stuff. Now let's go on to the new band. Okay, first up of the new bands. This is from 2011. Only full-length have done, Dismember Towards the Megalith. Featuring Craig Pillars from Incantation, who got kicked out for, I think you know why, but if you don't know why, look it up. But honestly, I think this is, I wouldn't say better, but I like this more than some of Incantation's more recent material. I would say this is better than the last couple records, but I wouldn't say it's on par with like Doges or Infernal Storm, but I'd say it's better than Profane Nexus, their last record, or Blasphemy. But yeah. And compared to Incantation, this is more doomy, though Incantation has their doom moments, but this one is more doomy all throughout the whole thing. So yeah. Dismember Towards the Megalith 2011, and hopefully they put out a new record soon, that would be nice. But they haven't done, I think they put out an EP 2017, which I still need to pick that one up, but this is definitely the best material, so yeah. Dismember Towards the Megalith. Okay, this one I know some people might disagree with. Some people think this band's boring. I'm not sure why, but that's just me. Dead Congregation, Provocation of the Fall 2014? Yeah, 2014. These guys are from Greece, I think. Yeah, Greece. Hopefully, again, like Dismember, they haven't put out anything in a while. This is their last thing they've done. They haven't even done an EP since, but hopefully we get a new one soon. So to me, this is like Incantation, Emulation, Hate Eternal mixed together, and you get Dead Congregation. Definitely my favorite of the two full lengths. I could have gone with Grave of the Archangels, but I think Provocation's a stronger record. Well, that's just me. So yeah. Dead Congregation, Provocation of the Fall, great record. And speaking of band that plays homage to Incantation, he is one of the bands that does that better than a lot of bands in my opinion. Follow the Foul, Desolate Gods, 2017 I think? 2017, yeah. Path Through Dark Descent. Though I like the previous material, I think this is the record where they got their own sound nailed down. It's not just another band playing the Incantation style. They definitely, I think this is the record where they finally became Follow Be Foul. Though you still have the Incantation style, you have some like, you can hear some Emulation, a little bit of Morbid Angel, some Monstrosity, specifically in Dark Purity era, because I know Justin has mentioned that's one of his favorite death metal records, which, look closely, it's fitting. You can see he has it on the shirt, so. But yeah, definitely one of the bands that's done that style longer than a lot of bands, and they honestly do it better than most, so yeah. Follow the Foul, Desolate Gods, if you like Incantation. That's kind of a weird thing to say if you like death metal. I'm sure you like Incantation, well most people do, but anyway. Follow the Foul, Desolate Gods, great record. I know they're working on a new record soon. I think Justin posted something on Instagram that they're working on a new record, so definitely looking forward to that whenever that drops. Okay. 2019, I think this is. 2019, 2018. Fetid, Steeping Corporeal Mess. $20 spin release. And I know these guys, I think one of the members is in Caustic Wound, I believe, in another band, but I prefer this band of the Caustic Wound. It's more my style, but I don't know, it's just like not really typical, but kind of a lot of the like more caveman stuff that's popular nowadays. These guys are definitely, I would say, one of the more interesting bands in the style, because a lot of the riffs are actually interesting and you actually remember it, which all of the bands in that style kind of sound the same, but for my money, these guys are actually one of the standouts in that style, so yeah. Fetid, Steeping Corporeal Mess. They haven't posted anything on Instagram for a while, so I'm not sure what's up. Maybe they're in the studio and they just want to keep quiet, but who knows, so yeah. Fetid, Steeping Corporeal Mess, good shit. Okay, if I had to pick a favorite from 2015 to now, it would be this. Glorifia, Severed Monolith, 2017, Dark Descent Records. Basically, I've mentioned this before, but these guys are making better Morbid Angel records right now than actual Morbid Angel, which I know it might sound kind of dumb to say, but it's true. Specifically, this record sounds like basically take Covenant and formulas, and you get this, which I love those two records, so that's definitely not a problem. I know the Eye of Nothing, I would say, is a mix of gateways and domination. But this one, I would say, is a lot faster than the new one. But the new one's great too. But this is definitely, I would say, their prime. So yeah, if I had to choose favorite from 2015 to now, this would be my number one, no contest. So yeah, Glorifia, 7 Monolith. If you like Morbid Angel, which I'm sure all of us do, great record. Okay, this one I almost chose with the more established bands, because this is from 2006, but these guys, I think this is their only full length, so I decided to go with the newer bands. Oops. Repugnant, this one called Epitome of Darkness. So if you didn't know, this is Tobias Forge's first band, which he obviously went on to form Ghost, which I know Ghost are hit or miss. I kind of like some of this stuff, but I'm not a huge fan. But no, 2007, that's right, 2007 Soul Cellar Records. Which I know these guys are from Sweden, it basically sounds like Swedish death metal, so like, specifically to me this sounds like the first couple of Desolatory records mixed with the Ending Quest era Gourmet. So if that sounds interesting, check out Repugnant. I know some people have said that you can hear some Ghost in this. I don't really hear that, but like maybe some of the guitar melodies, I guess you could hear Ghost in this, but it's kind of weird, but that's just me. So yeah, Repugnant, Epitome of Darkness. Good record if you like early Desolatory and the first Gourmet record. Though I say that I think Gourmet only have one full length, so I might be wrong, but anyway. Okay, here's a band, in my opinion, each release they've gotten more and more boring, but this record is solid. Gatekeeper, Nioh, Deprivation. I was really looking forward to... what the fuck is it? I was really looking forward to this when it dropped. When it dropped, I was kind of disappointed. I don't think it held a candle to this one. Honestly, I still haven't checked out the new EP. I'm not really in a big hurry to, but this one I think is definitely the strongest material, even better than the demos. But to me, this sounds like a mix of like 4th Crusade era Bolt Thrower, Domination era Morbid Angel, and the first couple Incantation records and early Obituary. Mix that up and you get Gatekeeper. And early Dismember too. They definitely have that kind of Swedish guitar sound, but I would say if you don't know Gatekeeper, check out the song Flamethrower or Depression. So yeah, Gatekeeper, Sonora Deprivation, great record from 2016? Yeah, 2016, good shit. Okay, this one's from 2019. No, it's not 2018. I think it's 2019, but I could be wrong. Hour of Penis Monotheism. These guys are from Italy, and I believe they share members of Hideous Divinity, but I'm not positive about that. But I prefer these guys to Hideous Divinity, honestly. But maybe their best record, either this or Cast the First Stone, is my two favorites by them. But I would say this is kind of like Suffocation, sort of like Suffocation in the meets the first Malignancy record, kind of in that vein. But I would say not as technical, it's more on the brutal side, not like slam pig stuff. But just check out the song Mass Crucifixion of Kings and Black Conqueror. So yeah, if you like early Suffocation, the first Malignancy record, this is a solid record. So Hour of Penis Monotheism 2019, like, not Nioh Records. I'm not familiar with that label, but okay. Okay, 2018 on Relapse, this one is? Yeah, Relapse. Outer Heaven, Realms of Eternal Decay. So again, these guys basically sound like early Morbid Angel, so kind of like the Glorifia, but I would say they're more like mid-paced stuff, so kind of like Domination meets Gateways, I would say, but I would say not, but honestly this record has a little bit of like hardcore in it. I found like some of the riffing style, but kind of the more chuggy stuff. It's not like breakdown stuff, it's kind of like more mid-paced and not really moshy, but if you know it, you kind of don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever. So if you like sort of the more mid-paced Morbid Angel stuff, you don't know this record, check it out. So Outer Heaven, Realms of Eternal Decay, Relapse records, and I know they've been in the studio for a while, so maybe a new record soon. Alright, 3 of them were done. Sentient Horror, Unholy Forms, 2016? I think 2016? Yeah, 2016 on Redefining Darkness and Testimony Records. So this is basically a love letter to the early Swedish stuff. Specifically, I would say the first two Dismember records mixed with like mid-era Flesh Crawl, when Flesh Crawl started to sound more Swedish sounding. So like As Blood Rains from the Sky to Walk the Path of Sorrow era. These guys are from Sweden, these guys are from New Jersey, so if you like that mid-era Flesh Crawl meets early Dismember, this is a solid record, so yeah. Sentient Horror, Unholy Forms, check that one out. Okay, not my favorite record in this pile, if I had to choose the favorite band of the last 10 years, it'd be these guys. Skeletal Remains, Devouring Mortality. 2018 Dr. Sun Records, so I almost went with the record from 2020, but I decided to leave out records from last year because I feel like that's still too new to be included with the pile of these other great records, because you don't have enough time to develop it. But probably I would say the best record in my opinion. Though for me this sounds like the first two Gore Guts, Testimony of the Ancients era Pestilence, first two Obituary, the first three Morbid Angel records mixed together. And I would say slightly, a little bit of aspects, mainly in the vocal delivery, as like a super like dry kind of raspy vocals that Mud Van Drunen has. But check out the song Seismic Abyss and the title track. Those are definitely my two favorites. So yeah, Skeletal Remains, Devouring Mortality, great record. Dr. Sin, I think was it Dr. Sin? Yeah, Dr. Sin. I thought it was Century Media for some reason. That's maybe overseas. I'm not sure. Okay, last one. $20 spin. Two Mold Planetary Clairvoyance. I know some people say this record's kind of, not boring, it's kind of, they didn't like the change in style, but I kind of disagree. I think they're the most interesting record to date. Though the early stuff is good, it's kind of more like a love letter to the early Finnish scene, which I think this record, honestly, is, they have some of that, but you can hear they've gotten, like, more proggy, but it's not proggy in, like, the Opeth way, it's more proggy in, like, disincarnate kind of way, which I know I've seen interviews with Derek and he mentioned that was one of the biggest influences when writing this record was the disincarnate full length, which you can definitely hear some of that in their songwriting. But sure, you still have some of the early stuff from Finland, like Convulsed Demigod, Perdinant, Ripikolu, all that stuff, but definitely I think this is the record where they finally found their own voice. So yeah, Two Mold Planetary Clairvoyance, check that one out. I'm sure most of you know Two Mold though, so okay, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I might do this kind of video again for a black metal list. If you guys want me to do that, let me know and I'll do it. And I'm sure there's some bands I didn't include. I didn't include any Cannibal Corpse. Honestly, I'm not a big Cannibal Corpse fan. I know that might be blasphemy, but oh well. And I would have included an Asphyx record, but I don't own the one I would have included. I would have included Death Hammer, but I don't own that record, sadly. I need to buy that. And another big one I don't own is Funebrome, The Sleep of Morbid Dreams. That record's kind of expensive and needs to be repressed. And also, there's three I could have included. I think it would have been Decapitated, either Nihility, Winds of Creation, or Organic Hallucinosis. But again, those need to be repressed. Those are expensive, so I don't want to show something I don't own. So hopefully, if you guys disagree with me, make your own list. Hopefully it'd be cool to see someone make a video doing this. So if you want to make a video, let me know. I'll check it out. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend. Goodbye. Peace out.